Hi everyone, welcome to the community. I am so glad you're here. I am going to be sharing some of the things I've learned, the lessons over the past week in sleep training, and a little bit about the story on why we decided to sleep train now. Our daughter will be 2 in June, but for my husband and I, it's been a long journey of breastfeeding. I've been breastfeeding up until this point, and I wanted to stop breastfeeding sometime in the fall. But my relationship with my daughter, she was still very much comforted and invested in breastfeeding. My hope was that she would wean naturally, just stop being interested in breastfeeding, but that didn't happen. She actually really enjoys breastfeeding, more specifically at night. So to go to bed at night, she was really dependent on having to be breastfed. And so over the course of the past year with coronavirus and with working from home, it's been kind of easier to enable that pattern. But now my husband and I are really wanting to start trying for a second baby. And we feel like it's really important for her to um, gain that confidence and the individuality so that when a new baby is introduced, she already knows that she has her own space and she already is confident in those areas. And we're not all co sleeping. So, we really thought that it was going to be hard. I've tried to wean before and she, would fight, she would get really upset, and I'm very empathetic and compassionate. So after a while I would kind of just give in. And some days I would get just so tired because it was like I just want my body back, and I love her so much. I really love the act of breastfeeding. That's why I've done it for so long. I did the extended breastfeeding route, but it was just getting to be so much. So we decided to hire a professional, Paulina, who is in this beautiful community with us, and she'll be hosting a workshop sometime in May about the benefits of sleep training, what it really helps build and instill within our children, and even in us. What I really learned about this process was it was more for me than it actually was for her. And I tried to find resources and support materials about weaning from breastfeeding, and everyone kind of just tells you like, oh, either they'll stop being interested or you just kind of have to do it. And there's really isn't like a gentle supposed way or like a best practice to do it. But what I realized is it's really about intention. And if you're on the fence about something, like I kind of was like, I want to stop, but I can keep going. I want to stop, but I can keep going. Our daughter picked up on that. She was like, "You're not fully confident. Like, you haven't really made a decision about this. So I'm just going to keep like doing it also because I know that I can still do it. And like, I haven't made the decision for both of us. So to her, she can continue doing that behavior." And I think this applies to a lot of things, not only breastfeeding, but it probably applies to a lot of things that we're doing as parents and as mothers. When we're not fully confident and we haven't set that intention and that boundaries is a major one for me because I am rehabbing from being a people pleaser. So I am no longer being a people pleaser, but there's still boundaries there that my daughter tests and pushes that really pull at my empathy and compassion for her. But what I've learned is in order to really establish trust and confidence in a relationship, you have to draw the line somewhere. You have to set the standard and you have to model that behavior for your children. And so we hired Paulina, and Paulina came aboard. She listened to my husband and I, like our parenting style, got to know our daughter, and we started the process. We committed to it. And that's another thing, the commitment piece. Once you start it, you cannot go back because then that shows your child that, oh, there's hesitation. And you're really not setting like a good standard or example because, again, it all comes back to confidence and trust. Trusting in yourself, but also trusting in your child that they also like are ready and want the same thing that you do. They just need you to guide them. And that's what we're here for, right? It's the whole guiding and teaching. Um, so What I also never realized this week was just how much time I dedicated to breastfeeding and to co-sleeping and comforting her. Because another thing is she would constantly wake up at night, constantly wake up. So I was constantly night nursing as well. And I didn't realize how much of that took up my energy and my time until she was going to sleep routinely on her own at 7:30. And it was like, I suddenly got so much time back. And I was like, wow, my husband and I have time to dedicate to each other. We have time to dedicate to ourselves and self-care. So there was just so many beautiful things that this process like cracked open for us as partners and even as a family, because the baby is more confident. We're seeing changes in her behavior during the day. She feels more empowered and more confident to start making choices and really vocalizing what she wants, how she feels. And it's really translating like that one intention of, at the surface level, it's like, okay, well, you're going to start sleeping in your own space. We want you to be an independent sleeper and we want to wean from breastfeeding. But the implications and the other layers of that are really that trust and confidence piece. I feel like we have so much more of a stronger connection because we are really modeling and setting a new standard for our family, for ourselves, and for our daughter, and really opening up a new chapter. I was really sad. Like the grief I felt about breastfeeding, which I realized I was having like some codependency on the baby. And to comfort me, breastfeeding was very comforting for me. Like I loved it and I enjoyed it. So I was like codependent on the baby as well to provide me with that comfort. But now I am more confident and our relationship dynamic has shifted into a much more loving and supportive, um, affectionate relationship in other ways, where we play more and she actually dedicates time before. And also, everything was like, mommy, mommy, mommy. Like she couldn't do anything without trying to find me. But now I'm seeing I'm less like she's using me as less of a security blanket and really stepping up and playing by herself, branching out, doing new things. And that's been really beautiful for me to witness as well. So, those two themes, really confidence and trust, were a huge thing. Um, that were a direct result of us sleep training her. And the triggers for me that came up were codependency and boundaries, which is really beautiful because I got to heal through that process and take a closer look at what those look like for me as well. Um, I just wrote a couple notes because I wanted to make sure I covered everything I learned, but also it's a testament to how quickly also kids will adopt to new behaviors and new patterns when we as parents and as mothers are confident and empowered ourselves. So we're really setting the standard for them. So when we feel confident and empowered in our decisions, our children feel that and they pick up on it. And then that enables them to feel safe because, the parent child relationship is all about safety, security, protection, like that survive and thrive like mentality. They want to, you are their nurturer. So when we could provide them with, safe comfort and protection. So while my relationship with my daughter was more about the comfort, the nurturing while sleeping in the sleep process, now how does that translate into our everyday interactions? So now her and I are developing a new relationship of nurturing and what that looks like. And it's beautiful because now it's more affection during the day. Now it's taking a walk and really reconnecting in new ways. So throughout the phase and the journey of motherhood, it's finding these ways that we can continue to connect with our children while establishing healthy routines, systems, and boundaries that really make space for both of us. Um, yeah. Yeah. So that's all my notes. Those are all the things that I got to move through this week. I mean, trust me, it wasn't a painless process. It's very much very illuminating in terms of, going through the process, seeing how quickly she adapts to it. Um, really being patient and like just sticking to the process. So it was really beautiful. And I realized, how beautiful it is to have someone to be there and support you from an outside perspective and really keep you accountable, right? Because even though my husband and I have been saying that this is something that we eventually want to do, it's kind of like we hesitate to do it because it's that uncomfortable process of actually doing it. And so when when we have professional help, it just makes it so much easier because we're like, we can be confident and we have that accountability of someone constantly checking in on us, asking how we're doing, how she's doing, how the process is. So it was a really beautiful process. And, I would love to hear all of your experiences, all of your journeys, like if you've sleep trained your children or, just anything pertaining to like boundaries, accountability, maybe something that is coming up for you that you would like to move through or shift in the relationship with your children. So I hope we can continue this conversation. Please let me know what you think, and I will update you on week two, which week two is all about then. Instead of being in the room with her while she falls asleep, to kind of like slowly ease ourselves out to even empower her more. So I will let you know how all of that goes, and please share all of your feedback and any of your experiences, whatever you're feeling called to share and need help or support in. All right, talk to you guys later.